What's up, everybody? Bruno here for another classic review, and today I'll be doing something different today. More specifically, since I did most of my reviews based on films from the US or the UK, and one did in Europe, my last one before I went back to taking a little break, went to gaming, the stop motion film Kaiser, I think. But yeah. So we're going back, so we'll try something new. We're going to Japanese territory now. More specifically, horror films, if you will. But yeah, we'll have some fun here. The film I want to do is the movie Kwaidan, which is a Japanese anthology film released back in 1964, which is a classic. Damn. Or usually by his name, Ghost Stories. And before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, are you ready for hear some actual ghost stories that will keep you all night? So you have trouble sleeping? If so, that'd be nice. So yeah, Chrysler. Sorry, I'm just headache. Was a Japanese anthology film back in 1964. It was directed by Masaki Kobayashi. It was based on the stories by Lafcadio Heart's collection of Japanese folktales, mainly Kwaidan, stories and studies of the strange things, which was published in 1904. And that's a long time ago, I tell you what. But yeah. Which, for the name, which Kwaidan is an archaic translation of the terms Kwaidan, meaning ghost story. Receiving critical acclaim, the film won the Special Jury Prize at the 1965 Cannes Film Festival and received an Academy Award nomination for Best Foreign Language Film. Damn. This film has to be good. Well, I think like twice or more. Both the director's cut and the Alta version. As you know, it's directed by Masaki Kobayashi, screenplay by Yoko Mizuki, produced by Shigeru Wakatsuki, cinematography by Yoshiro Miyahima, edited by Hisashi Sagara, and music by Toru Takemitsu, which production company Nijin Club, distributed by Toho, and released on December 29th of 1964 in Tokyo, with a running time of 182 minutes, which the budget was, in Japanese terms, 320 million yen, with the box office 225 million yen. And the history is quite interesting because, first of all, I like Japanese horror films, mostly based on, their folklore, the famous spirits, from, I think a recent film I was watching was The Peony Lantern, which is the story about a man who has a kind heart, accidentally lets two women in who are actually dead. And the servant wants her mistress to be happy again, which they're both dead, and most of the people try to save him, even try to put a charm around his house so the spirit won't come in, but fortunately, by the next day, he's found dead in the arms of a skeleton, including another one right there sitting right by the corner. Damn. I like the themes of these old Japanese horror films. Mostly take it back to the Edo period. To me, it's the way they make the props and everything. They get that realistic right there. Nowadays, everything you just do it digitally. To me, I don't know. Okay, I like it when they made the films back in the 60s or in the 50s. There they have no digital, none, just handmade everything. Beautiful artistry. If it was digital, it would put me to sleep. But back to this one. Well, he was a student. Producer Shigeru Wakatsuki, founder and CEO of Ninjin Club, converted the idea of a film adaptation of Kwaidan, Stories and Studies of the Strange Things. In 1964, Toho began a 3-film deal with director Masaki Kobayashi that concluded with the production of Kwaidan. Kobayashi worked with the composer Takemitsu Toru. The film exhausted its budget 3/4 into production, which led Kobayashi to sell his house. Damn. As the release of the film, it premiered in Yurakuza Theater, the most prestigious theater in central Tokyo, on the 29th of December 1964. The roadshow version of Kwaidan was released theatrically in Japan on January 6th of 1965, a year later. Kwaidan was re-edited in the 125-minute in the US for its theatrical release, which eliminated the segment The Woman of the Snow, or The Snow Woman, which, after the film's Los Angeles premiere, it was released in the United States on July 15th, 1965, where it was distributed by Continental Distributing. Kwaidan was re-released theatrically in Japan on November 29th of 1982, in Japan as part of Toho's 50th anniversary. As for reception, in Japan, the film won the Yoko Mizuki, the Kinama Junpo Award for Best Screenplay. It also won awards for Best Cinematography and Best Art Direction by Manichi Films Concours. The film won international awards, including Special Jury Prize by the Cannes Film Festival, and was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film in the Academy Awards. In 1967, Review's monthly film bulletin commented on the color in the film, stating that it is not so much that the color in Kwaidan, it's ravishing, as the way Kobayashi used it to give these stories, something of quality of a legend. The review concluded that Kwaidan was a film whose details stay on in the mind long after one has seen it. Bossy Crawler in the 1965 in the New York Times review stated that director Kobayashi merits excitedly acclaim for his distinctly oriental cinematic artistry. So do many designers and cameramen who worked with him. Kwaidan is a symphony of color and sound that is truly past compare. Variety described the film as done in measured cadence and intense feeling that it was a visual impressive tour de force. From retrospective reviews, in his review of Harakiri, Robert Elbert described Kwaidan as an assembly of ghost stories that is among the most beautiful films I have ever seen, which I would agree. Hey, I would agree. The artistry, each story has a different theme, the colors, the music. Damn! Even the scary parts. That would be pretty cool, but yeah. But yeah, continuing. Philip Kim wrote in Deciding Sound that Kwaidan was almost too beautiful to be scary, which I do agree. But that's the best part. It's both scary and beautiful at the same time for me. Okay, take example, the first half. There's two stories I do know. Take example, the black hair. That's the first one that got me jumping. How so? Well, let me explain. As I was saying, okay, as for the black hair, which is based adapted on the story The Reconciliation, which appeared in Hearn's collection Shadowings in 1900. It tells about an impoverished swordsman in Kyoto divorced his wife, a weaver, and leaves her for a wealthier family to attain greater social status. However, despite his wealthy status, the swordsman's second wife proves to be unhappy, while his new wife is shown to be callous and selfish. Meaning, we go back and forth. We see him with his new wife, who's like a woman of high status, while him, like, he's not in power, but he's now unhappy, rethinking his choices, Why did I left her? We see a flashback of her, his other wife, his ex-wife, right there, still at the old home, weaving around. He still remembers the sound of her, the weaving wheel. So one day he decides to, of course, he regrets leaving his more devoted and patient ex-wife, which he regrets. His second wife, however, let's just say, is furious when she realized that the swordsman not only married her to obtain her family's wealth, but also longs for his old life in Kyoto with his ex-wife. When he is told to go into the chambers to reconcile with her, the swordsman refuses, stating that his intent to return home and reconcile with his ex-wife. He points out his foolish behavior in poverty as the reason why he reacted the way he did. Which I would agree. It's either money or the woman who actually cared about you in the first place. Take your pick. Soon he informs his lady-in-waiting to tell his second wife that the marriage is over and she can return to her parents in shame. A few years, the swordsman returns to find his home and his wife's largely unchanged. Actually, when he arrived at the house, it was still the same. He slowly walked inside. It's still nothing has changed, like hardly anything has changed. He's finding his wife right there. He begs for forgiveness, which she's been waiting for her to prove a point. Which, of course, who refuses to let him punish himself. She mentions that Kyoto has changed and that they are only have a moment together, but does not elaborate further. She assures him that she understood that he only left her in order to bring income to their house. Which the two happily exchange wonderful stories about the past and the future until the swordsman falls asleep. He wakes up next day. He knows his wife's feeling weird. Like, how weird? Well, when he removes the blanket off of her, he freaks out, and suddenly his face was white. His face turns white, his hair gets longer, until he realizes he had been sleeping next to his ex-wife's rotting corpse. No joke. He's been sleeping, he has slept with his white ex-wife's rotting corpse right next to him. And soon, things get more weird. How weird? Well, let me explain. He's rapidly aging, starting to go from his normal hair color to start to white because he's scared of fright. And as for his wife's body, it starts to decay as well more quickly. It transforms into a skeleton. But her hair is still intact and long and black. And soon he starts looking at the house. It's starting in ruins, covered in weeds, everything falling apart. And when he goes back to his wife's body, there's nothing there but her kimono and ashes. But her hair is still there. It starts to move. His hair started to attack him. He tried to escape. He started to run. Once he managed to escape, that's when only his hair, he got attacked by his ex-wife's black hair right there. It ends right there. Now you tell me. You better be lucky to have a woman that treats you well. If not, well, let's just say her hair will end your life like this. But back to what these people are saying. On the Rotten Tomato, which, let's just say they kind of suck when they deal with the Marvel movie. That, I'm going to do a second video of that because there's a lot of controversies with the film. I mean, like, the film became a major success. But the problem is, people... Okay, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. But let's continue with this one. It gave the film a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 400 reviews and a mixed rating of 7.8 out of 10. Which reads... Exquisitely designed and fastidiously ornate, Masaki Kobayashi's ambitious anthology operates less as a frightening example of horror and more of a meditative tribute to Japanese folklore. Which I will agree. It is beautiful as well. The stories, accordingly, selected cast members each portraying the story. But it's more of each story. There's some I do remember, which I'll explain. Meaning? Well, I'll explain the whole way. One particular one is called the... One particularly is I think it's called Hochi the Earless. Adapted by Kearns Kwaidan, thought it incorporate aspects of tales of the Heike that are mentioned but never translated in Hearn's book. Which I do believe why. It tells the story of a young blind musician who plays the biwa. Well, it's a string instrument. You know which one. Ding, dong, 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 dong. That. You know that rhythm? Those type of instruments. His specialty is singing the tale of the Heike about the Battle of Dan no Ura. Which is a famous battle between the clans, the Taira and the Minamoto clans during the last phase of the Genpei War. One night, while he's playing, he receives a visitor, a samurai, which remember that his lord wants to hear Hochi does his performance of the famed story, which he cannot refuse, which means great insult, especially in front of the samurai as well. So he follows and arrives at the palace, which a huge audience appear, and we get this beautiful background of the war. You got two of the clans, including the music, the colors, including the costume designs. Damn, telling the real story. And we get to more. Well, we got other members from the temple know something weird is going on. That's when he realized something. Why is Orochi's... Until he realized Orochi is performing for the spirits of the Minamoto clan. Meaning, he's been doing I think this is the third time or the second time that has happened. And remember, in Japanese culture, in the folklore, if you are invited by a spirit and they keep requesting you, you're in danger because if you refuse, they'll tear you limb from limb. The monk at the head priest right at the temple found a way to save Orochi by writing a charms over his body so the spirits won't even see him. That night, when Orochi is in his place, the samurai shows up, requesting him to see him. Only his ears are left unwritten, unpainted. Which the samurai looks and is like, where is he? I don't see him, but I do see his ears. Well, I must tell my lord, but first to present his ears as proof that is all is left of him. And here's the thing. The samurai tugs those ears, and Orochi's still silent to prevent him knowing he's there. He managed to rip his ears right off. And the next day, when two of the monks trying to find Orochi, they found a trail of blood. When they round, they found him bleeding from where his ears once were, until the monk realized he forgot to paint. He forgot to put the incantation on his ears. The master tended his wounds, which Hochi kept quiet because, hey, it was a matter of life or death. You imagine you're covered in charms, you don't think missing covered is your ears, and get those ears ripped off painfully. And you're still trying to maintain your silent. Damn. I feel bad for him. But of course, after that, a local lord attended at the temple with a full routine. They have heard the story of Orochi, the earless, and wish to hear him play his biwa. He is brought to the court of the Lord. Hochi said he will play to console the sorrowful spirits and allow them to rest. The narrator indicates that many wealthy noble persons would come to the temple with large gifts and money, and Hochi the Earless became a wealthy person. And there were other ones like the Snow Woman and a cup of tea, which, but yeah, as for the film, including anthologies, I recommend it. If you're into Japanese films, especially the horror genre, I recommend this because the collection of stories that were collected by Mr. Hearns back in the early 1900s and well preserved to this day. I recommend this if you're a fan of horror. If you like to see other horror films besides from the main US, I recommend seeing these films from Japan. They're quite good. Good storytelling. Great craftsmanship. Chef's kiss. Wonderful. But yeah, if you've seen the movie, if you own the movie, it's on the famous Criteria collection. Hey, comment down below. What was your favorite story? And what was your favorite part of the movie? And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video. And our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers by May of this year because of our 11th anniversary here on the channel. It's very important to us, so let's do this. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Peace out. See you next time. Stay cool.